In this video, I want to talk about using multiple methods. So far, you've heard me talk about the main method, just public static void main. But you probably don't really have a great idea of what a method is. A method is just a set of instructions that tells the computer to do something. In the past, our whole set of instructions has been in the main method. It did the first thing, then the second, then the third, and just went down linearly. Sometimes we want to write a program that tells the computer to do one thing, and then depending on the outcome of that, it'll point somewhere else. So I'm just going to do a simple program. We're actually going to revisit the BMI problem, and we're going to do the same thing with multiple methods, just to get the hang of it. So we'll call this the main method. That's not really telling the computer that just those double slashes make a comment, so the user can tell it's the main method. So for now, don't really worry about why we type public void. Just know whenever we need a new method, we have to type public void, and then we name the method. We'll call this one get info. Start and close parentheses, and then start and end the curly braces. Inside the curly braces, we will actually write the method. So scanner input equals new scanner system.in. So this is creating a scanner for the user to input info. Oh, yeah, at the top here I need to actually tell it to import that. So import java.util.star, and the scanner is included in that star. Then let's tell the user to input their weight in pounds. So enter your weight in pounds. And then we want this to be a double because we need some precision when we calculate this. So double pounds equals input dot next double. Then we also need them to enter their height in inches. So enter your height in inches. And same thing, except we do this with inches. So double inches equals input dot next double. Alright. Oh, sorry, we're going to change these to just a print instead of a print line. We want this to look nice and neat whenever they input it. And at the beginning of this one, we're going to put a /n so it goes on new line. Alright, once we have that info, we're going to want to calculate it. So public void calculate BMI. Inside here, the formula was pounds times 703 divided by inches squared. So double BMI equals, let's see, our pounds, we'll call it weight down here, times 703. We'll put that in parentheses, divided by height times height. Alright, and you're probably showing an error on your computer, which is fine. Mine's showing that too. We'll take care of that in just a minute. Oh, and I spelled double wrong. That was a problem. Alright, so then what we need to do is we need to get the pounds from this method and input it right here. So what we do is, these are both going to be doubles, so we use the weight first, or we can put height first, but I'm just going to put weight first. So double weight, comma, double height. This method knows that whenever it's called, it needs two different doubles, which is a data type, and no matter what the previous method calls them, this one is going to call the first one weight, and it will call the second one height. But we still need to get from this method to this method. So we call it this way. Calculate BMI, and in parentheses, we type in the two things that we want to give it. First, we're taking weight here, so we want to give it pounds with a P, if I can type that right. Then we put a comma so that the computer knows that's the next variable, and then we want to give it inches. And make sure the semicolon's there. So this one calls it pounds, it then gives it to here, and this says no, we're going to call it weight. So after that, we are going to create a third method to output the data, just so you can follow along where we're going. Oh, and another thing, whenever you create methods, at the end of the method, because it could be much longer than this one, you want to put what the method is. And that'll be useful whenever whenever one method takes up more than a page and you can't really see it easily. Alright, let's call this last method output data. Notice all the methods start with a lowercase letter and they have no spaces. That is the only thing that matters. So we'll output the data. It's going to take in BMI. Sorry, we have to tell it what type of data value to take in. We'll call it output here. Up here we called it BMI, so we're just going to change the name. Normally I wouldn't change that, but just so it's easier, or just so you can see that it can change, we're going to do that. So system.print your BMI is plus output. Alright, so the very last thing we have to do is actually call the method. It's going to seem like we're doing a little bit more than we need to start this program. That's just how Java works, and it's one of those things you have to deal with. So first you have to type in your name of class in the main method, which the name of the class here is using multiple methods. Then whatever you want to call it, you can call it calculate BMI or whatever, just have to start with lowercase. I'm going to call it Joey equals new, then your class name again, using multiple methods, open and close parentheses, semicolon, and then Joey, as I'm calling it, dot, then you type in the name of your method, which my first one was get info. Notice here, I'm not actually giving this any variables in here, because this doesn't need them. It does everything it needs without taking in variables. So, if I hit Shift F6, this will run, saying enter your weight in pounds. So, where this is going inside the computer is, it looks at the main method, and it's like, alright, we need to go to the get info method. And here it says, alright, we need to enter the weight in pounds. Let's say 175. And enter your height in inches. It's associated the pounds with 175. Inches, let's say I'm a pretty tall guy. I'm 100 inches. Alright. Looks like we're getting some type of problem. Oh, there it is. I forgot to send the BMI here to output data. So, output data, and then we're going to send in BMI. Alright, we'll X that out, and this time it should work. So, 175 pounds, I'm 100 inches tall. So my BMI in that case would be 12.3025, which is not real. But, that's not what my BMI is. But just to follow this again, we'll show you it's the, it goes to the main method, says joey.getInfo. So it takes in the pounds and inches, and it calls those pounds and inches. But then here it sends those, and this new method calls it weight and height. It calculates BMI, and then this method sends the BMI into this last one that actually outputs the data. Now, whenever you're taking in data, you need to tell it what data type to have. Whenever you output data, you don't need to tell it that, because this method already here, it's outputting BMI, it knows that it's a double already. Alright, I hope this video helped you, and continue watching in the future.